Getting to Know IDPro vlog series. And we're going to be talking with Miki Brotzler, who is a board member with IDPro. Miki, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're most welcome.
So let's just jump right into it. So first and foremost, I'd love to know how you got involved in the identity industry.
Okay. Well, I have a little strange background. I came from the arts initially. So for a long time, I had nothing to do with the corporate world, anything like that. But then I got really interested in computers and all that. So I got involved in becoming a programmer and that sort of thing. But some 10 years ago, I think, I joined Australia Post, which I work for at the moment. And they were putting on a program where they called it extended identity services. So Australia Post has all these outlets, retail outlets, and they wanted to put in an identity verification system, basically for customers to be able to do their ID checks, the usual 100-point checks and things like that, in a more efficient online manner. So this whole project was to set these new systems up and try to get it out and try to get agencies that we can provide the service for. So I got involved initially just as a business analyst, but then I just kind of took over a little bit more, got really involved in the whole idea of identity verification. We also incorporated a lot of biometrics into that. So that got me really fascinated because I love that sort of sci-fi biometrics kind of thing. So yeah, that's where I got into identity and got really interested. And I was sort of almost like a product manager of that system anyway. So that's how I got started. And then it's just been around for all this time, really.
Nice. No, I love the sci-fi aspect of it too. That's really cool. So with IDPro specifically, I think it's interesting. So you're based out of Australia.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty solid testament to the fact that IDPro is obviously growing. It's international. It's a global organization. So what drew you specifically to IDPro?
Okay, so I didn't know anything about IDPro initially. Never heard of it. But I got invited, how they have all these different meetups of various groups. And I did belong to a couple of these little sort of identity related groups. But then I got invited into one particular meetup, and I think it was Alan Foster was talking. And I went, oh my God, there is an organization that is about identity professionals. So I was really impressed. So it was time. So I immediately joined up. I also took the whole group out for drinks, just so that I can find out a little bit more about it. But yeah, and so that's how I found out about it, joined up as a member, and then some people that I knew who were members and things, suggested that I go for roles in the board and things like that. And so I got more and more involved.
Yeah, speaking of that, so you're the secretary for IDPro right now, correct? So how would you recommend people that maybe members that are watching this that want to get more involved? What do you think would be a good next step to take a bigger role?
Okay, so we do have a lot of committees and they work on various aspects of IDPro. So as the members, the listeners will probably know, we have things like the certification and the body of knowledge. And it's very much a hands-on from the members kind of organization where we ask these professionals to contribute. So if you're interested, number one, of course, become a member and get your organizations to join up as well. But then you can sort of join these committees or just be writers for various topics on the certification testing things or, excuse me, or in some of the articles. So yeah, there's lots of ways to be involved. There's also Slack channels, I think, where you can, discuss things with your fellow members. There's always information going out about conferences and things, so you can meet up with your actual member friends in various identity and other technical conferences. And of course, you can join the board. Yes.
Yeah, always an option, right? So I think maybe just to wrap up things, if you could just tell me a little bit about your perspective on why you feel like organizations like IDPro or IDPro specifically are important for the industry? What role do you see them playing kind of going forward?
So in my years working in this technology area, I've come across lots of different sort of things that recognize professionals like Microsoft certifications and, the project management kind of things and university degrees and things. But I've never come across anything like an identity one before. So I think it's time that we got recognized as identity professionals, especially in the current climate where there's lots more fraud, lots more things happening, identity theft and various things happening. So it's becoming more important. And I think with the recent sort of COVID and things and people jumping on to get onto apps about vaccination statuses and certificates and things like that, it's so easy for things to happen, I think. And IDPro is a good way for people to be involved and to be recognized and to set a standard for the identity professionals, I think.
Yeah, no, that's great. I totally agree. And I know the organization has done so much to get some really great programs off the ground, and people can definitely check that out on the website. Good call for that. So thanks so much, Miki, for talking with us today. This was great. It was wonderful to catch up with you all the way across in Australia. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We look forward to chatting with you again in the future.
Great. Thank you.
All right, you take care and we'll talk soon.